It's a beautiful day here at Orlando Speed World. This is Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. I'm Jared Deanna. Joining me once again, Ryan Sage. Ryan, yesterday was qualifying. Today is game day, head-to-head action, and it is what we like to call the essence of drifting.
It is. I mean, this is what everybody comes for. We had a great day of qualifying yesterday.
But today it's about head-to-head action. Again, adhering to the judging criteria, chasing them down. But let's take a look at our standings. Again, only one round in the books, 7 to go, including here. This does include qualifying points. So Frederick Osbo leads the pack, Forrest Wang in second, James Dean in third because he qualified higher than Peter Vincic in fourth, and then JTP in fifth.
And it's still anybody's game, Jared. The point differential from first to 10th is still very small. So Ryan Turk in sixth, Chris Forsberg in seventh, Alec Honadale, Matt Field, and Odie Bakchis rounding out the field. All right, and we're back with Judge Ryan Lantain serving as judge and also third member of our commentary team along with Lorette Nickel. Now, Ryan, yesterday we had qualifying. We've got the bracket all ready to go. Today is the main show, the head-to-head action. What is today's format all about?
So today's the big show. We've got cars head-to-head on track. This is, as Jared said, the essence of drifting. So they're going to be competing. It's going to be 2 runs each battle. One driver's going to lead, the other's going to chase, and then they're going to change positions. So they both get the chance to lead and chase and show us who does a better job out there. We're either going to choose driver A, driver B, or go one more time.
Now, on a track where you have a lot of kind of slowing down and back on the throttle, the acceleration-deceleration map is very important. But in this course, it's also important because you have some drop-offs in speed, some areas where you might predict that drivers are going to decel. So let's talk about the decel map.
The map is very important here because of the fact that there aren't a lot of big changes. There's one transition, 2 big corners, and if the lead driver makes an error that makes the chase driver fall off, they're not going to be able to keep up for the rest of the course. So it's very important that the drivers adhere to the accel-decel map here, especially coming down into the infield off of outside zone 1. And you can see there is a slowdown zone. It's not a big one, but it's to be expected that a lead driver could slow down there.
And one of the things that you guys have spent some time talking about, not only on the broadcast, but also with the drivers, is just understanding what the lead and chase driver goals are. So let's first go through the lead, and then we'll talk about the chase.
So the lead driver is expected to run the qualifying 100-point run that we were looking for yesterday in qualifying. They want to run as close to all the zones, get really close to the inside clips with the right amount of angle throughout the entire course. If they're not doing that, it's going to be held against them.
Now, conversely, the chase driver also has goals. What should he or she be focusing on?
The chase driver needs to stay as close as possible to that lead driver at all times. Proximity is what we're looking for throughout. They need to initiate no later than the latest initiation point on the track, which here is, if you look on that fence line over there, there are 4 markers. It's the 3rd one. That would be the latest initiation point. And then they need to maintain close proximity, like I said, throughout the entire course. And they need to match angle, line, transition points, really show that they're able to mimic what the lead driver's doing.
And of course, style plays a big role in drifting. That's a word that gets thrown around a lot. We've tried to really define what that is. It used to be IFC, initiation, fluidity, commitment. Now we're just focusing on fluidity and commitment with initiation factored into the commitment side. So why don't you just give us a general overview of what style is from the judging's perspective and how that plays into head-to-head.
So what we're looking for stylistically now is, like you said, fluidity, commitment. Fluidity is the rotation of the car on its own axis out there on the track. As it's making rotations, as it's initiating as well, we're looking at how the car rotates. Did the driver rotate to the right amount of angle that they needed for that specific corner, or did they put too much, have to take some out, or not enough and had to add some afterwards? The commitment side of things, we're looking for the fluidity of the motion of the vehicle going forward. So is the vehicle flowing through the course? Are they having to accel, decel in areas where they're not supposed to? Are they using the handbrake and other things to get close to walls, or are they using momentum?
Right.
Using momentum is something that we really like to see. My best example, again, is Piotr in Irwindale last year, the way that he was going from inside clip 1 to outside zone 2. If you want an example of what we're looking for, that is it.
Go back and watch that.
It's phenomenal. Every time we're watching, we think, is he going to make it? And he does, and that's exactly the kind of the driving that we're looking for. We know the drivers are capable of doing this level of driving, so we kind of demand it from them at a high level, and we see who can do the best job.
And you do want to push these drivers and give them enough elbow room where they can make some mistakes and not be out on a little small technicality, though we do have things in place that you would consider absolute zeros. We call them now incomplete, so let's talk about those.
Right, so we've reduced what we would consider an incomplete. We've made it a little more open to interpretation on the judges' side of things, but we do have, like you said, hard ones here that can't really be overturned. Spinning out, losing control on the track. So opposite drift as well would be considered losing control. If you're drifting in the opposite direction, you should be anywhere on the track. Anything latchable that opens, hood, hatch, trunk, doors, anything like that. If there's an unsportsmanlike conduct that occurs on the track or anywhere that would be considered something that we wouldn't want to see from a driver, and then an active chase. So an active chase is in a situation where a driver maybe got an incomplete on a previous run. The next run, the other driver thinks, well, the other guy's got an incomplete. I don't have to push too hard here. I'm going to lay back a little bit, take it easy. That's not what we're looking for. So if a driver does that, we're definitely going to hold that against them as well.
All right, well, thank you, Ryan, for that thorough breakdown. This is the Advanced Auto Parts Scorch presented by Fast Orange, and this is the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Up next, the round of 32 here at Orlando Speed World.
How we doing out there, everybody? We are live here at Orlando Speed World, and this is round 2. It is Advanced Auto Parts Scorched, presented by Fast Orange. Jared Deenda, Ryan Sage, we are your tour guides. We're also going to be getting some insight from Ryan Lontaine, if need be. There's Frederick Osbo, our number 1 qualifier. We have two buys in top 32 for the top 2 qualifiers, and that being Frederick Osbo and then James Dean. He qualified number 2. So this will be a buy run for Frederick Osbo, our current points leader, number 1 qualifier, former champion, the Rockstar Energy Drink, Nexen Tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla, Frederick Osbo. Okay, so again, Osbo leaves the start line. He will advance automatically on into the top 16. The 2 vehicles that did not join us for 32 is Taylor Hull, who was to debut his vehicle, and then that of Cameron Moore. Frederick Osbo having his way with this course. And Osbo with his buy run. And our next battle is to be Matt Van Kirk, who qualified 16th, going against Michael Essa, who qualified 17th. But when we had practice just before we went into head-to-head battles in practice, Michael Essa went into the wall.
All right, SS5 is rolling.
So the competition timeout for Michael Essa has been called. So Ken Gucci warming up his tires. This is Ken Gucci versus Kyle Mohan. You can see the overall winning percentage, and these guys have seen battle against each other over the years. 5 times, with Ken Gucci winning 4 out of those 5 times.
I'll tell you.
All right, so Ken Gucci staged, getting outfitted with the cameras. And we are ready to send him, and here we go. Our first battle here of round 2, the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Ken Gucci initiates. Kyle Mohan a little low on the bank. He corrects to get some height, but lacking the angle as Ken Gucci rides high on the wall past that first front clip. Nice navigation by his vehicle, the all-white everything vehicle, into that second outer zone. Gets all the way out there, rides the Lightning into the crease. Great execution there from the Goosh, Ken Gucci.
Well, nice start there by Ken Gucci. Let's take a look at this one more time. You can see both drivers coming down the back straight there. Mohan diving in on the inside, straightens up a little bit, makes a mistake there. Gucci nice and high on the bank. We saw him very consistent with his 2 qualifying runs yesterday. Hits that inside clip, transitions through. Right there on that second hash mark of that second inside clip, then right out to that outer zone. You can see Mohan starting to close the door a little bit, but Jared making a few mistakes up on the bank and giving each of the team spotters an opportunity to point out the flaws in the other driver's run and figure out what they need to do for run number 2 as they switch things up.
Kyle Mohan now out front. Ken Gucci will be chasing him down. All right, Mohan out front. Gucci in the chase position. And away they go. Kyle Mohan initiates. Ken Gushi right there in tow. Again, dropping down is Gushi, mirroring the angle. Like to see Gushi a little bit closer, maybe giving himself a bit of a buffer here, but maybe too much as Mohan gets all the way out to that zone. Ken Gushi hanging tough, but quite a bit of distance from front to back. Ryan.
Well, you have to imagine Gushi wanted to give himself a little bit of space, but as you said, Jared, maybe it was a touch too much. You can see he starts off strong here, kind of drops down for a little bit. Now Mohan nice and high on the bank coming off. Good angle, nice fluid motion here across that center to that first inside clip. Now this is where we see that separation, Jared. We pick up Kyle Mohan in the lead here as Gushi falls back, lacking the angle a little bit, giving some room there. So the judges have to look at the lead to lead and the chase to chase.
All right, and we are just finding out. We are getting the results in. So slide him left for Mohan, slide him right for Ken Gushi. And Ryan says Ken Gushi. Andy says one more time. And Brian says Ken Gushi. Ken Gushi gets the win in the white Goretti performance. And we move on to our next battle. This was to be the first battle, but as I said, Essa got into the wall, called this competition timeout, and now here he is back together, and he's going against a Formula Drift rookie in Matt Van Kirk. Van Kirk will lead, qualified just one spot higher than Essa, and here we go. Van Kirk and Essa. Oh, and Essa initiating, shuts it down. Matt Van Kirk. So that will be an incomplete run for Essa. Van Kirk does need to complete the entirety of this run, but unfortunately for Essa, it seems that contact earlier in practice could be a bigger problem. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Jared, you point out rightly that Van Kirk did need to finish that run with a full pull. He was able to do that, so the incomplete will be going against Michael Essa, and he'll have to fight his way back here with Matt Van Kirk clearly at an advantage.
So that's it. So that's unfortunate. We are hearing that he doesn't have any power steering, so that'll be a wrap, unfortunately, for Michael Essa.
And it's a big disappointment for Michael Essa because he's had some really strong performances here, and last year in particular, I think if my memory serves me correctly, it was second place.
Yep.
So this is a track that he's well suited to, and you can see from that incident just in practice right before, and the fact that he was the second battle up did not really put him in a great position to get the vehicle back out there in a competitive way.
Seems like it happens more often than not that we go into head-to-head and a driver has an incident in practice. But, you know, smiling right now is Matt Van Kirk. Congratulations to him. He looks great right now and liked what he did in Long Beach. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen for Van Kirk in this 2018 season. Next up, you can see Dai Yoshihara, again, third place last year. He's in his turn 14 distribution, Falcon tires, Subaru BRZ, turbocharged LS under the hood. And you got Dan Burkett. Rad Dan has his own shop. He's piloting that great-looking Toyota Supra. And Dai Yoshihara will lead. Dai qualified 9th yesterday. Dan Burkett qualifying 24th. Dai Yoshihara looking very smooth throughout the weekend from a qualifying practice. But now push comes to shove. How's he going to do here against Dan Burkett? Here we go, Dai Yoshihara, Dan Burkett. Dai with the early initiation. Nice job by him, Dan Burkett. Little later, but now gaining that proximity. Nice job by Burkett. Past that first front clip. That's what I was talking about. You can see Dye, very minimal corrections, if at all. Dan Burkett kind of exceeding that front tire there from Burkett. Let's look at this again. Break it down, Ryan. Anything stand out to you?
Well, we definitely obviously have the clear weather out front for Daijiro Yoshihara. He was able to lay down a solid, clean lead run. You can see Dan right here in the chase position, slightly lower, making a couple little a bit of bobbles there on the bank. Now coming through the center section, you can see both guys getting through the whoop section. Dye hits that second inside clip and then locks into that second outer zone. A little bit of a tighter line at the beginning of that second outer zone by Dan. And then as he closed the proximity there, so the judges will take those things into context. And again, the judges are looking at both lead runs together, both chase runs together, and the driver that did better overall. So a good start from Daijiro Yoshihara in the lead position. He'll now go to the chase, and Dan will have an opportunity to match or better Dye's lead run.
Dan Burkett, Nexen Tires, Rad Industries Toyota Supra. He will lead as Yoshihara, Formula Drift veteran since day one. We're celebrating 15 years. Dye is one of those handful of drivers that's been around since day one. And here we go, Burkett. Burkett leading, initiating. Nice job by Burkett. Good composure. Dye Yoshihara looks like he's locked and loaded. Like to see him even apply a little more pressure, but maybe leaving himself a bit of a buffer. Now you can see Burkett taking out that second front clip. Burkett, a shallower line, doesn't get all the way out to the crease. And there's Burkett. So Ryan, you know, bears repeating, lead versus lead, chase versus chase.
I mean, just at first pass, it does seem like Dye had the better lead, but it wasn't by much. Dan had a pretty solid lead out front, but Dye did struggle in the chase position here. He gave a little bit too much room to Dan. You can see Dan hits this second inside clip. He doesn't fill this second outer zone, and that's where I think the better job of Dye's lead came into play. But you can see Dye did leave some room there. He didn't push the pressure. He wasn't really aggressive like Dan was in the chase position coming through that section of the course. So now it'll go to the judges, and we'll see what the result is.
All right, waiting for the judges' verdict. Scores are in. And Burkett, Yoshihara waiting. Slide him left for Burkett. Slide him right for Yoshihara. And it is unanimous. Daijiro Yoshihara gets the win. Daijiro gets the win in his Turn 14 distribution. Falcon Tires, Subaru BRZ. Lorette Nickel is down, and she caught up with Federico Sharifo, our Formula Drift rookie, who piloted the Ferrari and talked about what happened last round of competition.
Well, to his friends, Fede is back. A very dramatic entrance to FD in Long Beach. How long did you have to work with your team getting the Ferrari back to Orlando?
We had to work about 12 days, 13 days, between 15 and 20 hours per day nonstop. And luckily we made it. We made it to be here.
And you told me you weren't happy with your performance through practice.
Yeah.
So how do you clean that up?
So we're trying to understand a good compromise between the grip and managing to keep the car flowing. The guys have a lot of grip, so I'm trying to catch up with the grip. But if I catch up with the grip, then we need a power. So I need to balance the stuff. And where I'm supposed to look in the banking, I'm learning. And that's it. So that is what's going on.
Fede, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorette, and good luck to you, Federico. We'll be seeing him in the latter portion of the bracket. So, about fourth to last battle. Peter Visick going against Austin Meeks, and really trying to make that Polish pronunciation there, Ryan.
I still don't think we have any conclusion on what's the most appropriate way to do that.
Peter Visick. That's as Polish as I'm going to get. All right, so Peter Visick will be leading as Austin Meeks will be given chase. All right, again, Peter Visick qualifying fourth, Austin Meeks qualifying 29th. Peter Visick flicking it in, and there it is once again. just a solid lead run. Breaking it on down into that flat section, into the whoops. And Peter Visick puts it right on the line. I mean, stuck to it like glue. An amazing lead run. Austin Meeks was just front row and center of a little clinic there. Man, let's look at this again, Ryan.
Well, you can pretty much count on this from Piotr pretty much every time. Right out of the gate, initiates, gets right up on the bank. You can see Meeks rightly makes an adjustment to try to close the door there and not let Piotr get away. Now coming through this center section, you can see just how well Piotr hits that second inside clip and then links that second outer zone cleanly, getting right into that crease that we talked a lot about yesterday. So a great lead run from Piotr. Austin certainly has his work cut out for him, but Austin was able to keep him in a fair distance. He didn't let him totally run away, and that's what we would have expected there. So he made some adjustments to do the best that he could, and now we're going to see the second half of the battle.
Austin Meeks will lead, and we can see that cameras are prepped, ready to go, ready to send it. Again, we are live here at Orlando Speed World. Let everybody know, Top 32 is underway. Hashtag FDORL. Austin Meeks in that Galp committed service brand. S14.5, here we go. Austin Meeks throws it in. Nice lead run from Meeks. You can see the attitude of the car, holding tough. Past that first front clip, nice job by Meeks. Now Visick gaining that ground. And there's Peter Visick just tucked right in, almost rubbing door. Make some noise for him. Austin Meeks and Peter Visick.
Well, Austin Meeks certainly has a very quick and grippy car here, but Peter Visick did a great job sizing him up, looking for an opportunity where he could actually close the door here. Now you can see he keeps good distance, pretty consistent distance, and then right here from that second inside clip, he sees his opening, locks up on the inside. You can see he's on the same line here as Meeks, and then really just closes the door towards the end there. A tremendous job by Piotr on that second half of the course.
How is that going to shine in the judges' eyes? Austin Meeks, Peter Visick, and there it is. Peter Visick will advance on. It is unanimous as Austin Meeks is knocked out. Congratulations to Peter. But again, Austin Meeks, we'll see you in Atlanta. All right, so Visick advances on as we move on to our next pair, our next head-to-head battle. This should be a fun one to watch. Two really rising stars of the sport. We have Matt Kaufman, who's been competing for quite some time, and he feels really happy with the car, his Achilles tires. He just feels like he's got the grip. I was talking to him last night after qualifying. He feels the car is very comfortable. And then you got Dirk Stratton, a Formula Drift rookie who made a name for himself, hashtag Drift Vet. He comes to us from Ohio and making Corvette, you know, one of two Corvettes now in competition, and those cars looking very and sounding very mean. And Dirk Stratton, a driver to watch for years to come, and even right now. So this should be a fun one to watch. These guys are kind of no holds barred, straight up. Just they're going to really go for it. So Matt Kaufman, he is in that 959, the Thunderbolt Racing Achilles Radial S13. He has a Ford power plant under the hood, or sticking out of the hood, I should say, of that S13. And of course the Vet with the LS ready to throw down. He's also on Achilles tire, so an all Achilles tire battle here. Lingenfelter, Drift Vet, Stratton Chevrolet, coming to us from Ohio. He will lead. Dirk Stratton qualified 13th, Matt Kaufman qualifying 20th. All right, Dirk. Stratton out front, Kaufman in that chase position. Looks like Kaufman potentially a little issue here. All right, looks like we are back up in running order. So again, Frederick Osbo already in top 16, as well as he'll go against Van Kirk, Gushi versus Yoshihara. Peter Visick versus the winner of this battle, Stratton or Kaufman. Through the start chicane, no cones are hit. We got a clean start. Here we go. Dirk Stratton initiating into the bank. Matt Kaufman gaining some ground. You can see him. A lot of proximity there. Now down into that first front clip and into the second. Matt Kaufman, a wide swing. Down to that second outer zone. Stratton working his way out. Let's take a look at this again here, Ryan.
Well, I think the interesting stuff here with Kaufman starts at initiation, and there's another part of the run later on. Watch him in the back here. He starts initiating. You almost think that he was going to give a half a beat more and try to initiate up the bank with Stratton. He actually makes it work out pretty good in terms of proximity, but I think it got him on the wrong line a little bit. Then as he comes off into the center section here, he kind of blows out, and he has to cut the line to chase down that proximity here. Stratton out front looked pretty consistent, so we've seen both drivers here lead and chase, or one lead, one chase, and now they're going to switch things up. Stratton's going to know what happened with Matt Kaufman in the chase position, and Kaufman will need to lay down a pretty solid lead run here, given what Kaufman did in the chase position.
All right, so Kaufman will now lead, as Ryan just said. Stratton in the chase. Again, two rising stars of the sport, two fierce vehicles, and we are off. Matt Kaufman, strong out of the gate. Dirk Stratton trying to gain some ground. Matt Kaufman has the clean air, and Stratton maybe gives himself too much ground, or Kaufman just quick off the line. Keeping a consistent distance between them, but Kaufman, a really good lead run. So lead versus lead, chase versus chase, Ryan.
Yeah, I think Kaufman did what he needed to do there, given what control he has as the lead driver. Stratton, you can see, not really keeping the proximity, and that was one of the differences that Kaufman had over him, though Kaufman did struggle with the line at certain aspects. He fell off for a second, then he closed back the door. So the judges are going to have to take a look at both runs, lead to lead and chase to chase, and see if we can decide a victor here.
Both Stratton and Kaufman waiting patiently. Slide them left for Kaufman, right for Stratton. Ryan says one more time. Andy says Matt Kaufman, and then finally Brian says one more time. They're going at it again, so a one more time battle. And Ryan, you went with one more time. And your reasoning, you and Brian both.
Yeah, we both went one more time. We just, well, I did anyway. I think that there were too many mistakes on both sides. Nobody really clearly won either the lead or the chase. Kaufman was off in some places in his lead, and he made some mistakes in his chase for sure, especially on the initiation and outside zone 1. And then Stratton made the kind of the same mistakes as well, outside zone 1 and outside zone 2, and definitely didn't have proximity. So really want to see them go again and have a clear winner.
All right. So Ryan, they're going to take that into account. You know, having seen both the drivers lead, both of them chase, and now they got to bring their A game. All right. So those drivers will digest that. We'll see the one more time battle between Stratton and Kaufman in just a moment. But right now it is Alec Honadell, who's from Destin, Florida, going against Dominican Republic's own Jonathan Castro. Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic had the run of his life last year against James Dean, who eventually became the 2017 Formula Drift champion. Alec Honadell, the Fast Orange Advanced Auto Parts. Honadell, Huddy Racing, S14. Jonathan Castro, Jordo, Metaldom. Nexon Tires, Toyota Racing, Toyota GT86. Both these guys on Nexon tires, and we are ready to see this battle here. Castro had some issues on his first qualifying run yesterday, but then put it together, qualifying 28th. Honadell, remember, qualified top 5. So Honadell, look at that, sticking it to the wall. Nice job, just really high on the bank. Castro not backing down. Looks like he does exceed a little bit of the front tires of Honadell, now getting into formation. Honadell, nice job by Castro. Again, this track favoring him. I'd like to see him kick back just a little bit, because I know that was brought up in the drivers' meeting, Ryan.
Yeah, you want to try not to exceed the front wheels of the lead driver in front of you, but I think he's going to be okay here. He probably could have done a little bit better job on the bank. You can see he's on a little bit of a lower line here. You can certainly tell that he has the grip and the speed to hang with Honadale. Honadale out front, solid lead through this center section here, and this is where Castro kind of takes that tight line here to try to close the door, keep that proximity on. Honadale trying to reach out as wide as he can, get that best lead run in the bank. So Castro has to throw down something more solid in the lead run, but now that that run is over, Jared will switch things up. Honadale goes to the lead position, and Honadale will go to the chase position, and Castro will now take the lead.
Ryan, we're hearing some news that he potentially DB'd a tire.
That would be,
right
there it is right there. That was after the finish line. Yeah, DB'd a tire basically puts you out of competition unless it's done by an accident or contact. Then they would allow the other driver to make the changes as well. But the rules do want the drivers to make 2 laps on a set of tires, and DB'ing a tire on the first lap means that you cannot continue the second. If it happened on the second, it would be judged, but unfortunately for Honadale, he's going to be out of competition in 32.
That is a big bummer for Honadale, but I got to say, I wouldn't say Castro got a lucky break, but you don't want to win this way, but he's going to advance on. So Jonathan Castro will advance on due to Alec Honadale DB'ing a tire, and rules stipulate that you are not allowed to change your tire. You need to have the 2 runs. So with this, Jonathan Castro, Gerdo Meteldam Papadakis Racing, Toyota Racing Toyota GT86 from Dominican Republic, Jonathan Castro will advance on into the top 16. So we do have, again, the one more time battle of Kaufman and Stratton. We'll see if that's next, or if we advance on to Formula Drift veterans, Drift Alliance brothers, Chris Forsberg and Vaughn Gittin Jr. And here it is. So I assume just slide him left. There you go. Jonathan Castro is your victor and advances on into the top 16. So Lorette caught up with a newcomer to Formula Drift Pro category as well as the top 16. Lorette caught up with Matt Van Kirk.
Matt Van Kirk, his dream is coming true. Matt, can you walk us through that?
Yeah, well, we got 3rd place in championship last year in Pro 2. It's our rookie year Pro 1, and teams worked hard. We've been doing this for about 6 years now, and we're finally here. We made our first top 16. I couldn't be more proud of the team and everybody that's helped me along the way. And we're facing Osbo in the top 16. We went up against him at Long Beach in top 32, and unfortunately, we had a little mistake. We bumped into him and took us out for the round, but we're looking forward to get our rematch against him.
So what's your expectations? Because you're actually underpowered with a 580 horsepower engine. So how do you battle through that?
Yeah, so we have a stock bottom in 2J. The head's built. It's all Brian Crowder parts. And like you said, we only made 580 on the dyno. And we're definitely really underpowered compared to everybody else out here. And which I think actually helps. It feels like we're one of the quickest cars out here. We have less wheel spin, and we have a lot more forward bite. And it's definitely a struggle in tandems, especially on the bank. But we've just been messing with the Fortune Auto coilovers and just dialing the suspension to make the most out of it.
All right, good luck to you, Matt Van Kirk. And thank you, Lorette. And you can see Castro and Honadale having some words. And I'm sure Castro saying thanks for the ride. But unfortunately, Honadale DB'ing that tire. That is a bummer. All right, so the one more time battle is here. Kaufman and Stratton. Kaufman warming up his Achilles tires. Stratton qualifying 13th. Kaufman qualifying 20th. And keep in mind the scores, were quite large yesterday. I mean, again, 99, the top score, but the 90s went all the way down to 14th qualifier. So, again, that was Dean Carney from 90 all the way to 99, 14th to #1 spot, just to give you an idea of the driving caliber we saw yesterday. And this is the one more time battle of Stratton and Kaufman. And away they go. Stratton out front. No cones were hit. We got a clean start. See if Kaufman took note of what he did, and it looks like he did. Man, great lead run there by Stratton, but Kaufman hanging out in that Achilles tire smoke. Took some notes from last time, gaining some ground. Looks like almost overshooting there. Now tucks in the smoke trail as Stratton gets all the way out and tapping that finish line marker. Ryan, pretty solid run here.
I think there were some improvements there for Matt Kaufman, though that there was some similarities as well. You can see surging on the power, grip on point there. Look at Stratton out front. Still solid lead run. Here's where the proximity really comes into play for Kaufman, and again here, but then he falls back a little bit and then surges forward again. Meanwhile, Stratton's out front, laying down a pretty solid, nice, clean lead run. So again, a strong battle here between both competitors, switching things up, as now Kaufman will go to the lead position and Stratton will chase him down.
All right, so Kaufman out front, Thunderbolt Racing Fuel, Achilles tires. Stratton with the Lingenfelter Achilles Radial Corvette. Family run Stratton Chevrolet out in Ohio. And away they go. Wow, Kaufman coming out blazing. Oh, taps the wall. Kaufman gets into the wall, and that will be it for Kaufman. Stratton does not have to complete the rest of the run, but looks like he will do so anyways. But man, what a bummer for Kaufman. It looks like he just threw it in there, and the wall claims another victim, Ryan.
Well, because that was a lead run incomplete, the run should be shut down after that. We will verify that. But typically when you have a situation like this where a driver out front has an incomplete, the judges will shut the run down from judging in order to provide safety to the chase driver so he doesn't need to finish the run. Stratton does anyways, but you know, it looks like the kind of the theme of this battle was just some problems on initiation from Matt Kaufman, in this last one looks like it cost him the battle here.
Again, the wall claiming another victim here. Slide him right forward. Dirk Stratton, the Lingenfelter Achilles tire Corvette, the drift vet, advances on into the top 16. Unfortunately, Matt Kaufman is knocked out. All right, so before we move on to our next battle, looks like Lorette Nickel caught up with a driver that, again, he was another claimed victim here, Chelsea Denofa, who unfortunately is not going to be able to make battle here today. Lorette?
Hey guys, unfortunately for Chelsea Denofa not competing today. So, Chelsea, can you tell us what went wrong?
Yeah, yesterday we were at the track having a good time setting the car up. We finally had the car dialed to the point where I was easily making maneuvers, changing the setup to fit my driving style, and I was really, really happy with where we were going. I got into the wall pretty good in practice, trying to push for that #1 qualifying run. Crew got the car fixed very quickly and was able to get out for our first qualifying lap. In our first qualifying lap, we laid down at 87. It was just a run to get some points on the board, and during that run, we had a little bit of a mechanical issue. We came back to the pits and thrashed pretty hard to get it ready for today, but unfortunately that mechanical issue is not going to allow us to continue today. But we'll be ready for Atlanta. We'll make the changes that need to happen, and hopefully put it on the podium there with an even better car than what we brought here.
Chelsea, thanks.
No problem. Thanks.
Man, a bit of sense of defeat there for Chelsea Denofa, just not able to get his vehicle back up to running order. So ready to rowdy on the windshield of his vehicle. His teammate and team owner, Vaughn Gittin Jr., he's doing battle against the only three-time Formula Chip champion, Chris "The Force" Forsberg. Both these guys, veterans of the sport, have been competing since the first ever year, 2004, the Formula Drift Championship. You could see 16 battles overall going against each other, and Vaughn just besting Chris 9 compared to 7. And truth be told, I know Vaughn was working on his vehicle late last night, and then Chris Forsberg actually swapping engines last night. So they were out. Both of the teams were doing some late night after hours working on their vehicles. So Forsberg will lead. Chris qualified 12th compared to Vaughn Gittin Jr. qualifying 21st. All right, so again, Forsberg will lead. Vaughn Gittin Jr. will give chase. Let's see what we got from these two veterans. Always a crowd favorite. Both these guys. Again, Forsberg versus Gittin. And away they go. Here we go. Forsberg and Gittin here at top 32. And all right, so let's take a look here. Don't know exactly what happened. Oh, looks like Forsberg did hit a cone. Oh.
But now we've got a little bit of damage here to Gittin's car, so obviously he's not going to be at fault for that. Hopefully it's just cosmetic.
So again, this is a strike against Forsberg. He did hit a cone, and there is a restart light that's placed right before entry. There's actually two. So here's a replay of it. You see Forsberg hit that cone, lights hit. Forsberg, I think he just slowed down tremendously. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they're going to get penalized for getting hands on the vehicle. No competition timeout needed, just some random contact.
Yeah, no, they won't get penalized. They won't have to use a competition timeout. If this was actually in competition, this would be fault to Chris Forsberg. But obviously, because that run is not being judged, they're just going to be able to make sure that the vehicle is functioning properly, and no harm, no foul, except for the strike going to Chris, which is he's got 3 of those, so that's not going to be too big of a deal. There's not anything other than cosmetic damage to Vaughn's car. He's good to go. He's agreed. And so we're going to run the pair and restart the battle.
All right. We got Lontaine on the mic over here, too. What's up?
It's interesting that this is the first time this has ever happened. We talk about it in the driver's meeting. I kind of joke about it, like, hey, guys, don't, slam into each other when the light goes off, and it actually happened. So first time for everything, right here it happened.
And it looked like they were checking out the back end of Chris Forsberg's vehicle. And that was just a quick assessment, and looks like they are ready to run. Let's go and send them. So again, let's get this battle going here. Nexen Tire, top 32, Chris Forsberg, NOS Energy Drink, Nissan 370Z on Nexen Tires, Vaughn Gittin Jr., the Monster Energy, Nitto Tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Here we go. 4 championships between the two of these guys. Who's going to come out on top? We got a clean start. Chris Forsberg initiates into the bank. Vaughn Gittin Jr. dropping down a little bit there as Forsberg brings it down into that first front clip. Forsberg is about the second hash mark. Now getting out to that second outer zone. Forsberg and Gittin, the first portion of this battle.
Well, Jared, we've definitely seen a lot of work in the offseason that Chris has done to this vehicle. You can see it's running pretty strong here. He's nice and high on the bank. Vaughn down just a little bit lower here, now trying to close the door. Brings the gap in a little bit closer here, but then some separation coming through this center section. Chris on that second hash mark of that inside clip. Vaughn about a 2-3 car lengths back, and then closing it there towards the finish line. So you've seen run 1, run 2 up next with Vaughn in the lead position.
All right, so a little bit of debris out there on the course, so pick that up really quick. Go, Larry, go. Here's the second half of this battle. Who's going to come out on top? Where are my Vaughn Gittin Jr. fans at? Make some noise. Where are my Chris Forsberg fans at? Make some noise. Where are my drifting fans at? Make some noise. Here we go. Vaughn Gittin Jr., Chris Forsberg. Vaughn initiates. 3-wheel motion in effect. Forsberg massaging his vehicle to get to the door of Vaughn Gittin Jr. Looks like Forsberg, a little correction there in that chase position. Vaughn, whoa, gets all the way out to that second outer zone. Forsberg right there in tow. Make some noise for Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Chris Forsberg. Ryan, break it down.
Well, interesting battle here, Jared. Overall, let's take a look at the second half of this run with Vaughn in the lead position. Chris cutting behind there, both initiating at the same time. You can see Chris doing a great job trying to keep close but stay on the same line as Vaughn. Vaughn through the inside section, nice job there. Chris losing a little bit of angle compared to Vaughn during that section, but you can see Vaughn actually going up off course with that right rear wheel. And then again here, Chris keeping proximity there towards the end. So you've seen run 1 and 2, and now it's in the judges' hands.
The scores are in. Slide them left for Vaughn, slide them right for Chris. Ryan says Chris Forsberg, Andy, and Brian. Chris Forsberg gets the win. Forsberg gets the win. So congratulations to Forsberg. Unfortunately, Vaughn Gittin Jr. knocked out. So we're officially halfway through our top 32 battles. And here is the bye run of our defending champion, James Dean. He qualified second, and with, again, Cameron Moore and Taylor Hull, unfortunately not able to make top 32. The top 2 qualifiers will get a bye run and advance on into the top 16. James Dean, the Wordhouse Drift Team, Falcon Tires, S15. How we doing, Austin Weiss? Austin, give me a little shout out. You still in Cabo, buddy? As we are, again, in the bye run. We are live here at Orlando Speed World. And here goes James Dean for his bye run. James the Machine Dean, defending champion. Look at that thing. Just, wow. Just blending into that wall. Perfect on that front clip. Just composure from this Sylvia S15. Firing off there, as we will see him next in top 16. Who he's going to go against will be Forrest Wang.
Forrest will take his bye run and then move on to the top 16. And as you said, Jared, going up against the driver that just preceded him.
Yep. All right, so James Dean will be going against Forrest Wang. As I said, and you saw the interview with Lorette Nickel, Chelsea Denofa, having technical issues. We're looking forward to seeing him back in Atlanta behind the wheel of his BC Racing Ford Mustang. But right now, all eyes are on the green machine of the Vaptasia Achilles Tires, NRG Innovations, Get Nuts Laboratory. S15 here of Forrest Wang. All right, so Forrest Wang on his bye run. Talking about blending into the wall, all green, everything. And Forrest Wang just changing up his program from years past. He says he's running smaller turbos, running a different setup, getting the grip, getting the speed, but just definitely has the big styly angle. And Forrest Wang crosses the finish line. Should be pretty fun. In the top 16, Dean versus Wang. Lorette Nickel caught up with a driver who's been working on a new car, debuts it for the first time here. He unfortunately had some issues in Long Beach, but throw it down to you, Lorette, who caught up with Dean Carney.
Dean Carney is back, thank goodness. Unfortunately, in Long Beach, didn't make it out there. What happened there?
Yeah, we had some technical issues outside of our control with some motors and stuff that we lost. We actually lost the motor putting it in the trailer on Friday morning at like 6 a.m. So we basically had no time to make the start line. So first ever time in 13 years I didn't make the start line on an event. It was definitely disappointing, but it's definitely after making me more hungry now to come back and push twice as hard.
That's amazing. And I was told that you're running 1,500 horsepower. Is that beneficial out here?
Yeah, it's 1,500 horsepower, but we do a thing called boost by gear. So it's 1,500 horsepower in 6th gear. So here we're in 4th gear, whatever, so we're probably maximizing probably 1,250 of the horsepower, and we don't have the nitrous on either. So we have so much room for horsepower if we need it, you know.
All right. Well, Dean, thank you so much. Best of luck.
No problem, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, well, good luck to you, Dean. Like the new setup. It looks really awesome, as well as not just talking about aesthetically, but the performance-wise. Looks like Dean has got one mean machine. Next up, Odie Bakshi's versus K-Law. Kevin Lawrence, he is your local Orlando Floridian. He's from Njuku Racing. Again, seeing his RB-powered S chassis back here again. S14.3, Odie Bakshi's S14.5, a lot of dots and matrices and all this stuff, but the Vortec supercharged LS under the hood of the Falcon tire vehicle as Kevin Lawrence, he's running some Nexen tires. All right, here we go, Odie Bakshi's out front, initiates Kevin Lawrence. Low on the bank, now tries to get up there and is really struggling, but Odie Bakshi's with the clean air, ticking the boxes, hits those front clips, gets to that outer zone, and Kevin Lawrence, who is very familiar with this track, kind of struggling there on initiation, Ryan.
Yeah, you can see the lead run is so important to get that done out of the gate, and Odie Bakshi's does a solid job here, stays nice and high on the bank. You can see Kevin have a little bit of a struggle maintaining the line, and a lot of it looked like it came from the initiation, and maybe, you know, we have that deceleration area right before initiation, trying to anticipate that properly. But Odie out front, solid pretty much all the way through. Kevin Lawrence closing the door there towards the end, and now both drivers will switch things up as Kevin Lawrence will go to the lead position.
All right, so Kevin Lawrence will be leading, and Odie Bakshi's giving chase as they alternate the order. Kevin Lawrence really needs to step it up here. Where are my Kevin Lawrence fans at? All right, here we go. K-Law out front. Odie in the chase position. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Kevin, a lot more confident now out front. Odie Bakshi's having not gone against each other, give himself a bit of distance. Is this too much, though? Again, lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Odie Bakshi's keeping a safe distance away, but comes down to the judges now.
Well, great job here by Kevin Lawrence. You can see that initiation right there by that second standing cone. Nice and high on the bank. Odie giving him a little bit of room, then closing it there as they come off the bank into that first inside clip. And through this center section here, Odie making sure Kevin doesn't get away. This is a solid lead run from Kevin. Line-wise, pretty much perfect. Great job there. But was it enough to turn it over? Let's head to the judges.
And slide him left for Lawrence, slide him right for Bakshi's. And Ryan, Andy, and Brian all say Odie. Odie advances on into the top 16. Unfortunately, Kevin Lawrence, your local Orlando driver, will not be moving on. But Odie Bakshi's advances on. All right, how we doing out there, Orlando? Seeing you guys out here. Thank you for joining us. Again, just here in Top 32, we are live at Orlando Speed World. Next up, Matt Field versus Jeff Jones. These guys have seen battle against each other twice, with both of them winning once. So, you can see the winning percentage there. Jeff Jones yesterday. Okay, so Jeff Jones is calling a competition timeout as Matt Field now waits. Both these guys on Falcon tires. All right, so Jones. Competition timeout will not start until they get hands on the car. And he has a 5-minute allotment. We'll see if he gets it up and running. Thanks for joining us. We are live as we are seeing another Mustang out here. This is piloted by JTP Justin Pollock, Roush Performance Falcon Tires Ford Mustang. He's going against Italian driver, newcomer, Formula Drift rookie, Federico Sharifo, who made quite a scene last weekend. or excuse me, not last weekend, but last event. But JTP, Federico, never seen battle against each other. Federico got into a tussle with Chelsea Denofa, one of the other Mustangs, in Long Beach, and then on the second run caught a blaze. But so happy to see him and the Triple F drifting department team back out here. Federico Sharifo and his V12 599 GTB Fiorella. But Justin Pollock, he's going to be a hard act to follow. The way he's been driving very aggressively. Watch his flick on his initiation, and then the car just looks very settled. And Ryan and I were talking about it earlier at the opening of the show on just how he's developed the car. Feels comfortable, just getting it more and more refined from last year to this year. Let's see how he throws down here. Justin Pollock initiates. Federico struggling to gain some ground, and he's talking about that grip. And Justin Pollock welcoming Federico to Formula Drift. And Justin Pollock making it look easy here. Now the real battle is going to be Justin Pollock chasing down Federico with, as he said, those grip struggles and harnessing that car.
Well, anytime you debut a new vehicle, there's always going to be, things that are going to need to be ironed out. And for Federico, not having really much of an opportunity to shake down this vehicle at all, much less after the fire, you're going to expect some of this. But here you can see out front Justin Pollock doing what he's been doing pretty much all weekend, which are these really clean, solid lead runs from practice to qualifying into the practice for tandem competition into this run here. And so Federico has seen what standard has been laid down by Justin Pollock. And again, like you mentioned, Jared, it'll be an opportunity here for Justin to really potentially take a measured approach depending on what the strategy is going to be here. He has a solid lead run in the bank, and you want to be careful, not to give that up by making mistakes in the chase position.
Well, as you said earlier, spotters are hypercritical, especially in something like this where they haven't seen battle against each other. They haven't seen a lot of battles, talking about Pollock and Federico, and so the spotter hopefully in practice was telling him what's going on and where Federico's at and what they should expect. So we'll see how it unfolds. Federico, I'd have to say, obviously with a disadvantage there after that first run. Pollock putting down a really solid lead run. And Federico will lead. Nitto tires on the corners of his 599 GTB Ferrari. Federico initiates in that very one-of-a-kind Formula Drift vehicle. Justin Pollock, like you said, taking a measured approach, Ryan. Transitions Federico into that second front clip. And Justin Pollock, nice job from Federico. But I gotta say, Justin Pollock, really refined, took a calculated approach. Right there in tow, but again, a very dominant lead run on that first battle.
Yeah, competitively, Justin Pollock played all the right cards here. He did exactly what he needed to do. He saw what moves Federico made. He took a measured approach, as we said, Jared, but he kept the pace here with Federico. He still gave a lot of action here to Federico, did not let him run away, was able to maintain the pressure, and Federico, for his part, solid lead run out front. This is something to build on and definitely has a lot more to learn as we go on to into the long season here. But Federico, all hats off to him.
All right, so we are slide him left for Federico Sharifo, or right for JTP Justin Pollock. And JTP Justin Pollock in the Falcon Tires Ford Mustang gets the victory and advances on into the top 16. While we are waiting here, Lorette Nickel caught up with another driver. Lorette?
Dirk Stratton takes his first FD win. And Dirk, you're fine-tuning some things as you're out on the track. Walk us through that.
Yeah, definitely. We have a new Fortunato two-way coilovers on the car now. So we're just kind of fine-tuning all the settings with that and getting the car set to me and how I like the way the car feels. And every lap we're learning and learning more, because this is the first time I've driven with these drivers, which I believe to be the best in the world. So it's very exciting to be able to come out here and learn, have fun, put on a show, and really show what this Lincoln Photo Performance Engineering C6 Corvette can do.
What are your expectations going against Peter?
I'm excited to drive with Peter. It's going to be a good time. I know he's you know, obviously one of the best drivers out here this year. And I know he's going to go out there and give it his all and drive 100%, and that's what I'm going to do too. So if nothing else, I'm going to learn from him, but of course we plan to be able to move on from that battle.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Guys?
Thank you, Lorette. Good luck to you. Dirk Stratton, speaking of Corvettes, there is the other Corvette, and it is going to be a bye run for him as Jeff Jones, unfortunately, his car not able to be fixed given the time allotted that competition timeout. So that means the Wish Falcon Tires Corvette of Matt Field, the Beast from the Bay, will advance on. And just listen to this thing purr. All right, so there you have it. Matt Field, a bye run, making it look easy. He'll be going against his frenemy. Look at that. All teal and blue. Odie Bakshis and Matt Field will be going against each other. Their own video series called Frenemies. The signature teal and blue Falcon Tires vehicles. Next up, warming up their tires. That is Dean Carney. Dean Carnage Carney, the Oracle Lighting Achilles Tire Dodge Viper. He's going against Alex Hilbrun from Lima, Peru. El Diablo. You can see these guys having gone against each other one time, with Hilbrun besting Carney. Well, Carney qualifying higher than that of Hilbrun just by 5 spots. Dean Carney qualifying 14th compared to Hilbrun's 19th. Who's going to come out on top? The 1,500 horsepower. A lot of changes for Dean. Suspension setup, engine setup, new car. Likes the car, so he goes from supercharger to turbo. Hilbrun with that supercharged V8 under the hood of his BMW. This should be a fun one to watch. These guys, 2 very aggressive drivers. And away they go. Send it, fellas. Here we go. Oh, and looks like Carney does hit the cone. And that will be a restart for him. Track 1. All right, so Carney. All right, so Carney. So again, both these guys, they're going to throw some more tires on there, actually. All right, so welcome back as Dean Carney out of the pits and here on track. So Dean Carney and both Alex Hilbrun getting a fresh set of rubber. We have Ireland and Peru being represented here. Dean in the Dodge Viper, Alex Hilbrun in the BMW. 2 more battles left after this, and actually we are hearing that the next battle was to be Ryan Turk against Farouk Kouai, and unfortunately Farouk unable to fix his vehicle and get it up and running order, so Ryan Turk will have a bye run. So a lot of unfortunate circumstances for a lot of these drivers, either contact or just having issues. So man, just showing you already 2nd round in, this guy's having some issues. All right, so here we go. Dean Carney, Alex Hilbrun. And away they go. Dean needing to get up there. So Dean, that got a little sketchy there as Dean. Alex Hilbrun right there in tow. Nice job. Into the 2nd front clip. Dean Carney puts it right on the yellow line. And across the finish line.
Well, we've seen Dean come back after a tough break in Long Beach and looking solid here, almost getting together there, those 2 drivers from initiation. And here you go with Dean coming down off the bank. Alex Hilbrun keeping him close. Nice job by Dean on that 2nd hash mark of that 2nd inside clip and then locking into that outer zone. But Alex not letting him run away. A nice competitive battle here to start the run between these 2 competitors.
All right, so a very interesting start to that battle there, as Hilbrun will now lead and Dean Carney will give chase. All right, so Hilbrun, I don't think there's a major advantage either way. Let's see what Hilbrun's got up his sleeve. How hard is Dean going to push? Like I said, both these guys going for the gusto. Hilbrun out of the start chicane. A slow initiation by Hilbrun, and look, that allows Dean Carney. Look at Dean Carney. Woo! Look at that. Dean Carnage Carney gets right to the door of the BMW of Alex Hilbrun. A wide swing now by Dean Carney, though. Now dialing it in. Wow, make some noise for these two gentlemen, Hilbrun and Carney. Most exciting battle we've seen yet so far.
Well, impressive chase run for Dean Carney here. Alex Hilbrun taking the lead. Slow roll initiation. Dean dives right in. Aggressive move here up on top. Maintaining that line with Alex really putting the pressure on. Now coming down unfazed. Both drivers switch through that center section over the whoops. You can see Dean falls back for a second, but quickly gets back on it. So that's that one little mistake that Dean made in the chase.
All right, so unfortunately we are seeing a fire come to the rescue of Carney. So looks like fire safety taking a look at Dean Carney. Maybe another fire incident, but the results are in. So slide him left for Hilbrun, slide him right for Dean Carney, and Ryan says Carney. Brian says one more time, and Andy says Dean Carney gets the win. Dean Carney gets the win 2-1. And there it is. So Dean Carnage Carney. Fortunately, yeah, there we go. He puts his arms up in victory. And congratulations to Dean Carney. A hard-fought battle there between him and Hilbrun. All right, welcome back. We are live here at Orlando Speed World Advanced Auto Parts. Scorch, presented by Fast Orange. This is round 2 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. This is a buy run for Ryan Turk and his Gum Out Nexen Tires Toyota Racing Toyota GT86 from New Hampshire. Ryan Turk advances on into the top 16. Who he does battle against, we'll soon find out. The Bone Zone, here we go, fellas, as who is going to be going against Ryan Turk. We have our final battle on deck with Ryan Turk advancing on into the top 16. His 2 JZ powered Gum Out Performance. Christos Blus versus Kazuya Taguchi. Christos Blus from Latvia, Taguchi from Japan. So some more countries being represented here in this Formula Drift grid. This E92 Eurofighter, the BMW of Christos Blus, running a Mast Motorsports V8. This thing is a rocket ship. It is a slingshot. Definitely encourage you to come check out the vehicle. Again, after this top 32, we have the Formula Drift halftime show. The halftime show featuring a couple members of the Maximum Driftcast team, Paco and Sam. Again, the Formula Drift halftime show hosted by Paco and Sam of Maximum Driftcast and some special guests. And it's open pits, so come check out all the vehicles during the halftime show. All right, here we go. Christos Blus, HGK, Achilles Tires, Eurofighter out front. Already getting intimate with the wall is Christos Blus. Now into that front clip, right on it. Taguchi, not too far behind, doesn't have the proximity. Oh, gets lost in the smoke, it seems like. But Christos making it look easy. If that was a qualifying run, that would have been high 90s for sure.
Beautiful lead run by Christos Blus. I mean, really hard to find really any fault in that. Even taps the wall, but maintains the settled nature of the vehicle coming through that section of the course, then through the middle part with the whoops, no problem there. And look at how he connects it there right at the beginning of the zone, locks in that right rear wheel is in the crease all the way through. Taguchi, valiant effort, made a couple mistakes, didn't really have the proximity, so he's got his work cut out for him now as he will go to the lead position.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Yeah, that from that second front clip to that second outer zone, you could see there, the front clip denoted by the cones, but the beginning of that second outer zone is denoted by the cone. He just bam, just hit right into the crease, right into the fold, and just well executed. How is he going to be chasing down Kazuya Taguchi now in that Jerry Yang Racing Top 1 Oil Achilles Radial GTR? All right, so this is the final battle of top 32. We'll be back here at 3 o'clock for opening ceremonies. Local time, just almost 12:45. So if this commences just over 2 hours until top 16 and opening ceremonies. We're ready to send it here for our final battle, top 32. Taguchi out front. Achilles tires on both of the vehicles. Here we go. Taguchi initiates. Nice job by Taguchi. You can see some wavering from both the drivers, both the vehicles. Now in that first front clip. Like I said, Christoph Blusch nearing a victory here against Frederick Osbo. Looks like a wide swing there from Christoph's. Tire drop from Taguchi. And you just have to think that that lead run by Christoph's is just the dominant force.
Let's take a look here again at Taguchi's lead run, try to compare it to Kristaps. He gets a good start there on the initiation, but you can see some wavering there, not able to hold the line. Kristaps closing the door, staying nice and close here, but then falling back a little bit as they come across the center. You can see on the transition, Taguchi loses angle for a second, kind of reinitiates to get back in there, trying to keep that flow. Then through the final turn here, Kristaps closing the door again towards the end. Kristaps' lead run seeming to be the highlight of the battle overall, and now it goes to the judges.
All right, so as we wait for the judges' verdict, I assume they're going to be going the way of the Latvian driver that is Christoph Blusch. This is Advanced Auto Parts Scorch presented by Fast Orange. All right, and it is unanimous. Christoph Blusch gets the victory. Christoph gets the win in his HGK Achilles tire BMW. Christoph gets the victory and advances on into the top 16. Fortunately, Taguchi has to park it here in top 32, but the action continues. So, thanks for joining us out here again.